When did fake it until you make it backfire? A lot of the big instances of fraud came from fake it until you make it mentality. Elizabeth Holmes and Theranos were faking the technology until they could get it to work. Fee Festival was faking it until they could get the money together. And Adelvi intended to make it one day, but she ponzed her way through until she would get there. Dr. Christopher Dunch, Drive Death, was a horrible back surgeon, but he kept operating and working on patients anyway. I tend to think fraudsters don't really intend to hurt other people. They are just grossly incompetent and trying to cover their asses. I listened to podcasts and documentaries of all these assholes, but the ones on Dr. Death really stuck with me. Like, I can get how people can disassociate when committing fraud and tell themselves over and over that it's just numbers. Nobody is hurt. But to be clueless and yet also able to cut a person open and perform surgery? What a fucking psycho. I was in a Skype job interview that involved multiple rounds in one session. I talked to person A, then person B, and then person C. During the interview with person B, I was asked to talk about one of my weaknesses after having already talked about one of my strengths. I explained that I'm very comfortable with creative problem solving, but sometimes I take for granted that the status quo exists for a reason. Person B responded, I see your point, but I don't think that's a problem in the grand scheme of things. You seem very entrepreneurial to me, and people with that motivation have a healthy skepticism for how things have to be. That was a pleasant thing to hear, especially in an industry that involves bringing in new business and keeping clients. I thanked person B and told him I'd never thought of myself as entrepreneurial, but there was something that felt true about that description. Cut to my interview with person C. First question. What are some words that people might use to describe you? Well, one thing I've been told is that I'm entrepreneurial. I'm less of a leader and more of a collaborator. I value creativity. Blah blah blah. Person C. So, Kim and Up, you said you're entrepreneurial. What businesses have you started? Might as well have quit at that point. Once I said none. Nothing I said to person C was going to convince him I wasn't full of shit. Edit. To be clear, I told person C several projects I've started that involved personal initiative, taking risks, and making proposals to people with the power to deny my idea or be a part of my team. The problem he seemed to have was that none of those things was literally a business. Maybe I should rephrase. I'm not saying I'm an entrepreneur myself, but that I have been described as such by others who see my creative, unique solutions. According to some people I know, I think like an entrepreneur, but I haven't gone out and made my own business or anything. Perhaps a better way to describe it would be that I think outside the box. Also, it's pretty dumb of guy C to ask you what other people have said about you and then say you said you're this. Like, no. They said I'm this, and you asked what they said. I think the dumb part is that he took one facet of the word and ran with it. You don't have to have started a business to be entrepreneurial. It's characterized by taking risks for high profit. When used to describe someone, this is usually meant positively. The thing is, the word implies that the risks are calculated, creative, and generally will pay off. Guy I used to work with told me about when he used to work as an electrician apprentice at a plant. When there was nothing to do, which apparently was most of the time, the lead guy and him would walk out to a random spot in the plant with a ladder, a conduit bender, and a bent piece of conduit. Then one of them would stand on top of the ladder and the other on the ground holding the conduit, and they'd just chit chat all day. If any of the bosses wandered by, they'd nod and pass the piece of conduit up to the guy on the ladder, who would then make a show of trying to fit it in somewhere. Said they both made it through 3 rounds of layoffs doing that. That's maintenance electrician for you. You do nothing all day, take long breaks, and only occasionally work boring stuff. At Nelson Mandela's funeral, people took note of the sign language interpreter that seemed to just be making random hand gestures instead of actual sign language. Turns out he had made quite a few appearances previously and nobody had caught on that he knew literally no sign language. To me, this dude is just the poster child for fake it till you make it. This is apparently common. A sign language interpreter for the city of Tampa, Florida was fired after it turned out that she didn't know sign language and was just signing in gibberish. Among the things Roberts signed, according to Settembrino, was the following. 51 hours ago, 01222, indecipherable. Murder 3 minutes in 14 weeks ago in old, indecipherable. Murder 4555,000 plea 10 arrest murder Bush. Indecipherable. 3 age 24. Made sense to me. S. Got a job working in an insurance company reviewing contracts. Had no fucking idea what I was doing and thought I could just learn it and I'd be fine eventually. Lasted 6 months and they kicked me out. That's 6 months experience though. Thanks for watching. If you liked my video, go ahead and check out my other content, and also don't forget to like and subscribe for new videos. If you loved the video, leave a comment.